feared for the power of her mind, worried about what she could find. Hello Leo, this is your full moon revelation reading. So these full moon revelation readings were supposed to spill some secrets. Often secrets are nasty, but for most signs it was more like what came out was not some nasty secret, but just a positive surprise. So it doesn't always go as planned, and yeah, my readings, they sometimes answer different questions than what I actually asked for, but yeah, I just have to respect that. And I don't know, your reading is the first where, yes, there is a positive surprise, but there is also some negative feeling here in your reading. And don't worry, it's not a threat or a warning. It feels like more some kind of annoyance, like you have been waiting for this positive surprise, which isn't actually a surprise. It's something that you might have longed for and worked for a very long time, but it just didn't work out due to some kind of injustice probably. And for a few of you, I know people don't like this topic, but I have to mention it because there is the dungeon card in the middle of your spread, and yes, it's obvious that the dungeon can also represent prison. And just for very, very few, this means like something coming out of a literal prison. Finally, for others, this could just be a legal situation where you weren't imprisoned literally, but where there was something that just you wanted to move away out of a certain situation, but it got rejected. There was no confirmation. There was no someone just didn't agree, and you were forced to stay stuck in some kind of legal situation. Like the door of this metaphoric prison just wouldn't open. For others, this is entirely private in your personal life, where the dungeon card really just represents an emotional or psychological imprisonment, where just nothing works out, everything is being stagnant. Everything is just, it feels like you're powerless and everything is being enforced on you. And I feel like the cards around the dungeon card, we have the horse, the thief, the river, and the mermaid. It is similar. I forgot the sign. There was a sign where it felt very similar, that this is the core energy, your current core energy. And the cards around it, they both have something that you radiate out into the world, into the universe, but it doesn't come back. But now it will finally come back. Like, the horse card mainly stands for friendship, because my thought when I created this card was like, in the Middle Ages, maybe dogs weren't people's best friend, but horses, you know, because you have to trust your horse has to trust you. You go everywhere with your horse. It's a huge animal that could, hurt you bad, but they don't. So there's some kind of loyalty, and the horse in the medieval deck here can also stand for vehicles, for cars, because in the Middle Ages, that was, like people's car. And it could mean both in your reading. I see both ways. Like, there is something about friendship that has gone a little bit sour, while you became very bitter being in this stuck situation, which is understandable that sometimes, because I feel like being in this prison also made you reflect and overthink a lot. Like really mentally and emotionally going into all kind of details, because you were so forced and stuck in this situation, you're forced to stay there, and you couldn't distract yourself with anything, so you were forced to really tap into your deepest and darkest corners. And it could be that you started to doubt some friendships, like I see that, like you testing your friendships. And also with the thief, I feel like this is some kind of energy that you also thought about, like maybe realizing while you were stuck in this dungeon energy, that you realized what people took from you, or what kind of intentions people had when they started to have a friendship with you or a romantic relationship. Maybe they just try to steal things from you. And yet I feel like the thief also tells me that you feel like a thief because you wanted to take back what they took from you, or you were, while you were stuck in this dungeon energy, you couldn't actually act on anything or do anything. You just could imagine and tap into your thoughts and fantasies, that you were planning and imagining how you could pull back what was taken from you with the river card. I feel like this is some kind of desires and fantasies about traveling, not only traveling out of this dungeon situation, but wherever you were stuck, in whichever country, I feel like you want to leave this country, like you hate this country. That's how it feels. And then we have the mermaid here. And I feel like this could be a romantic thing, like also reflecting on that, also desiring a certain person that appears very attractive to you. The mermaid could also represent a man. And it's not only that this person itself is very attractive to you, but also she holds in her hand this jewel, so she has a certain quality or a talent that you also admire about this person. So it's not just some superficial, when I say you feel very attracted to this person, it's not something superficial and only sexual. I feel like there is, as I said, there is an attraction to the person itself. This person could be very attractive, but it's not about that. It's about the person as a being is very attractive to you. And also what she or he is holding in her or his hands is something that you're also very interested in. Could be a common hobby or something like that, shared interest. This mermaid is very open with this interest. It's like she's almost offering it to you, but at a distance, She looks very inviting. She looks friendly. She's showing this jewel. Like, here it is. I'm not even hiding it in my fist. I'm keeping my palms open. I'm revealing this jewel. But she's not reaching towards you with her hand. Like, she's also not coming towards you. Like, she wants you to come towards her or him. And it's also interesting that we have two huge water sources here, this big river and then the ocean even. Whereas here everything, I would associate the horse more with earth. The thief also feels very earthy, and the dungeon, it's in a cellar, it's even below the earth. Like, everything here feels a bit dry. And suddenly here there's all this water. I feel like there is so much, the mermaid also represents in my deck desires or unfulfilled desires, or, desires that appear to be impossible to fulfill, unrequited love. And, being stuck in this dungeon for a long, long time, or in the energy of this dungeon, created all these desires into this direction. All these were things that you were fantasizing and thinking about, but you couldn't act on it because you were so stuck and something was being enforced on you. But this is the positive surprise of your reading. We have Lady Fortune at the bottom of the deck. And this is a lot of good luck coming in here with the Magician. I feel like the Magician could be some kind of friend or someone who is very friendly, someone who is able to manipulate something in a situation, not in an evil or, harmful way for others. It's just a small adaptation, just a small thing, maybe in some bureaucratic stuff. I don't know why the Magician, I never saw him this way before, but for other signs he also came up as someone who was doing something regarding bureaucracy that will make something a lot easier. Like these two people are actually the Fortuna, the Lady Fortune doesn't have to be a literal person. It could just be some kind of energy or some kind of higher source that will, suddenly shower you with all this good luck, fulfilling all these desires, or offering a relief to, these situations here. Like having a fulfilling friendship again and regaining trust maybe in someone you couldn't trust anymore, because maybe sometimes we become paranoid if everything seems to work against us. But there seems to be some reason coming in again. Some clarity how to discern who is your true friend, who is not, and then you can move on if you have that understanding. Also, there's something about maybe some of you weren't able to drive anymore due to either legal reasons or maybe financial reasons. You couldn't afford to have a car anymore. There's something about that here as well that will be solved. With the Thief card, I feel like if it doesn't come up in the negative sense I mentioned earlier, like thinking about who stole from you, who took from you, now it turns around and shifts into a positive energy where the thief is representing you, packing your stuff, leaving this dungeon. And as I said, it doesn't have to be a literal prison, just a very imprisoned and powerless situation. It could even be a living situation where you couldn't get out of due to whatever reasons. You were stuck for 5 years in a super terrible apartment, and for several reasons you couldn't move, and now you can finally pack your stuff and go. There are so many options here. Then traveling could be possible again, and maybe you, as I said, really hate the country where you're in. It doesn't have to be the case for everyone here, but that this is something like you just really want to rush through the ocean, through the waters, just leave this dungeon and run as far as you can. Also, the water makes me feel like cleansing, like you want to wash something off. Maybe this energy is very sticky, it's very nasty, it makes you feel filthy. And you just want to wash that out and off. And there is a kind of, desire being fulfilled here also regarding something romantic, regarding this person waiting for you. And in general, the Mermaid card just confirming that suddenly these not so nice energies stuck to this, or, tainted by this prison energy, suddenly it all turns around and comes back to you in a good way, in a very lucky way. So she just represents in general like these seemingly unattainable desires, they suddenly will all be fulfilled. Let me see, we have the Myrnir and Justice. No, it's actually Scales. Can come up in different ways in my deck. But for you, I feel like it is about balance and justice here. And the Maiden, this is just a feeling that you have now and then about yourself. Like this feeling of powerlessness being... If she comes up as a negative energy in my deck, then it stands for, being exploited, being powerless. Feeling like a slave to other people and somehow. But there is some justice coming. There is some kind of queen. Could be a spiritual force as well. Doesn't have to be a literal person on the outside. Can be, doesn't have to be. It's just a strong feminine person that will help you with something here after a long time. The Mirror is for self-reflection and learning. You might realize what you have learned in this very sticky and nasty situation. And we have Poison and the Healer, which is a good sign. Sorry, usually I don't pull that many cards. I just had a feeling I have to. Like, Poison can stand for drugs and alcohol, and there's a healing regarding that here as well. And at the same time, the Healer is someone offering medicine. If poison comes up in my deck as something positive, then it means medicine. And I want to close the reading with the Sun card, transcending, bringing clarity, bringing light and warmth, feeling self-empowered, strong within your core, being able to radiate something out into the world. And it's completely opposing to this energy. Okay, I'm gonna leave this part here and jump into your health and lifestyle part. And as I always say, don't take any part literally, especially when there's health related stuff coming up. Don't replace it with a proper professional advice. Actually, I think this should be clear, but sometimes people take everything too seriously. Okay, this one flew out, B12. Or actually, I would suggest you be your true age. You don't be 12. Ha ha ha. Okay, that was a bad joke. I tried to make a pun. If you're 38, you be 38 and not be 12. My jokes are bad. I'm sorry. Then we have Skin. Letter. Iron, Cold. Oh my god, that's a nasty taste. Iron and Dungeon together. Like the Iron Curtain. Is that an English expression? In German, if I would translate it literally. Actually, the dungeon looks very wooden, not iron. Okay. Sorry for that. Let's see what else we have. We have nose. Oh, that's interesting. I don't know why it makes me think of the ocean and the river again. There's maybe something about the smell of the ocean. Discipline. Lemon. One more. Hiking. Okay, maybe that's something you want to do. It's the opposite energy of being stuck. Wandering around. Not being stuck anymore. I'm gonna leave it here. Thank you for watching.